Well, welcome back. I'm going to be doing a chatty get ready with me for my go-to autumn look at the minute. It's not seriously autumn. I am going to do one of those. This is more like my go-to sort of everyday look for autumn that's a bit more wearable. I created it a few weeks ago and I've been really loving it and wearing it all the time. I can't always wear it for work. In fact, usually I don't, just because I don't have time, but if I did have time I would, because it is work appropriate for my job anyway. And so I've got a box of all the stuff I plan to use in here, all my brushes and everything, and let's just make a start. I've already done my skincare and put my eye cream on, and I've used a lip scrub on my lips, and I've got a lip balm on them, so I've done all of that prep. The first product I'm going to use is L'Oreal Lumi Magique Base, and it's the Pure Light Primer. I just use about one pump and a tiny bit more, so not quite 1.5 pump, but you know what I mean. I just usually use this all over my face, and I do take it up under my eyes, rightly or wrongly, that's just what I do. With this look, it's very, I suppose it would be appropriate for a lot of seasons, but like I say, just because of the lip colour, I actually think it's quite autumnal, because it's nice and warm as well. I'm very pale in the autumn winter, so I really like to use a light reflecting or radiance primer in the autumn winter, just to keep my skin from looking too awful, because it's not that pale is awful, but I get really pale. Next I'm moving on to foundation. Now I'm 010 Light Porcelain, which is the very lightest shade you can get in this foundation, which is the Rimmel 25 Hour. But it's very pink, this foundation. Now I am pink in my undertones, I would say neutral, but closer to pink than yellow. But I put a dot of the Match Perfection Ivory 100. The Match Perfection is a very sheer foundation, so I used to like it as an everyday foundation when I was younger, but nowadays I do find I need something with a little bit more coverage, and so I do prefer the 25 Hour, because I find that although it's a lovely dewy finish, does have a longer lasting power and higher coverage. But I have to put in the ivory colour in order to make it the right colour, because although I have pink undertones, it's very unflattering. Like, it's so pink that it's almost like Miss Piggy pink. So it's very pink, that particular colour, that particular shade. I think a lot of people find that it's difficult to get a match with a drugstore foundation. I've recently tried the L'Oreal True Match, because I've been told that that's basically the most versatile in regards to colour range. It's well renowned for, you know, being able to find the right colour for you in L'Oreal True Match. And I haven't tried the newer version yet with the newer packaging, which I've been told is the same coverage but a much lighter, less cakey consistency. But I have the whole packaging one, even though I've just bought it very recently, and I do find it quite heavy, and it does settle into my smile lines here even when I set it, and even when I wear a primer. So I don't find that to be an issue with Rimmel foundations. I love all the Rimmel foundations, and I often don't set my makeup because I have normal to dry skin, and I don't find that a problem. But L'Oreal True Match is, you know, it's with the old, at least the old version of it anyway, was very thick, a bit too thick for me. As you can see, I'm using, well, you might not be able to see, I'm using the Real Techniques buffing brush, and I'm just taking it a little bit down my neck. See, that's the perfect match for me at the moment, but I will bronze that up a bit. I look like a ghost. That's just normal. Welcome to my world. I actually had somebody say recently on one of my videos, it was a lovely comment saying how I looked very healthy and bronzed and tanned and glowy. And thank you for that, but I did reply to say that I'm not going to be wearing fake tan all year round. It was fake tan. I don't like my skin to be damaged by the sun. I am going on holiday in 3 weeks, and I won't be coming back with a tan because I wear SPF 50 on holiday and I only fake tan, and that suits me. And I just don't like the way that you age when you're in the sun. I'm using a sample size of Urban Decay Anti-Aging Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I'm really enjoying this stuff, but because it's a sample size, on the edge of the sample where it's exposed to the air, it is sort of going hard and lumpy, and it's difficult to get out the right amount and not to get too much with a sample. But I suppose you can't complain when it's free. Well, free in the sense I got it free with my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, so I did actually pay for it as such. I'm putting it all over the eye, including the lower lash line and the inner tear duct, right up to the brow bone. Oh god, that was loads. Just got a load in my eyebrow, but it's not a big deal. That's not a big deal, just help the longevity of my eyebrow product, I imagine. I am really liking it though. It's very, very sticky. I can see what people mean when I've heard people say that it's difficult to blend over the top of. I can understand that. I know you're supposed to put like a skin coloured powder down on your eyes before applying your eyeshadow when you do a primer, but I don't always need to do that with other primers, but for this you definitely do. So I'm using my Makeup Revolution I Heart Makeup Naked Chocolate palette. The packaging looks like that. I had to keep it because it's beautiful, and the outside packaging looks like that, like a chocolate bar. It's just amazing. If you hear Scarlett in the background, it's because she's here in the background. That's my little girl. So I've got in here my brush from my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, because that's what I used the other day. But I'm just going to use this large contour brush from Real Techniques and this matte light cream coloured shade there called Smoothly. I've kept the sheet and everything. Professional. So I'm just going to get some on the tip of that, and I'm just going to set. I'm really just concentrating the colour from the crease up. I don't really see the point applying a flesh coloured one from the crease down, because it just might make the pop shadows less pigmented rather than actually me needing to get a smoother blend, because I don't really need to get a smooth blend below the crease, if that makes sense. So that's that. Next, what I've been doing is using this colour next to that one, which is called Divine, and I'm just going to use the flat side of the fluffier side of the brush and just put that all over the lid. I mean, look at the pigmentation on that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. These I've said it before, I'm sorry if I'm repetitive, but if you haven't tried any of the Makeup Revolution shadows, what are you doing? I mean, I paid £37 for my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and it's not that I dislike it, I do like it, but the shadows in all the Makeup Revolution palettes I've tried, of this type anyway, the fancier ones, the ones that have like where the fronts are clear and they're a bit cheaper, obviously they're cheaper, but these are just as good as the quality in those. Next I'm going to take a mixture of this matte shade and this matte shade here, and those two are called Sweet Shop and Milky. So I'm just going to pop that in my outer corner and just ever so slightly up into the crease. I'm not sure if that meowing is loud enough for you to hear, but if it is, that's just the cat. I can't let her in right now because the back door is locked, and as soon as I finish this I'll go and get the key and let her in. She does need to be outside a bit, mainly because I prefer her to do her business out there, so please don't feel I'm being cruel to my animal. She will be allowed in shortly. I think Rosie Pierce had a similar problem recently. She mentioned like the cat being outside all night in one of her videos, and apparently she got a lot of hate. Saying how it was animal cruelty, etc. Now I've got hooded eyes, so I just need to look straight ahead and to make sure that the height of them is the same, and I can see that this one needs coming up a little bit more. Okay, and I'm just going to take my Bdellium Tools 787. Now this was a brush that was recommended by Stephanie Lange, who has hooded eyes and does a lot of tutorials specifically on hooded eyes. Now when I've done this look before, I've done it by applying a transition colour first, and I've done it without the transition colour first, and it's fine either way. I am, however, just going to take, of the two shades we used, the lighter one down there I'm going to take, and that is Milky, on just the tip of this brush. Just apply it where we would a transition colour, just to help us blend that out. I actually wished I'd put that on first, but it, looking at the look, it actually made no difference, so there you go. So next I'm going to do my concealer, because I always find doing my concealer disturbs any other work I do in there and underneath if I don't do it first. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm in the shade 15, which I believe is the lightest shade. There is a number 10 of this product, but it is not lighter than 15, it's in fact darker. Don't even ask. So let me know in the comments what products you've been loving for autumn. I have been enjoying some lovely brown lips, which is not like me at all, but I'm really getting into it. I've actually got a lot of new makeup recently from America, but I haven't hauled it yet, so I'm not going to use it in a tutorial, but I have had a little bit of a play with it, if I'm honest. I'm using sort of a beauty blender to blend this out. It's not a beauty blender. It's a dupe version, which I bought months and months ago, but I was on the fence about it and I didn't want to do a review until I'd formed an opinion. So I'm really encouraging myself at the minute to use it so that I can give you an opinion. I'm just bouncing the tip of it on the inner corner, like so. Can't talk really when I'm doing this. I hope this video isn't too long for you. I feel like when other people say that in their videos, I feel like saying to them, no, I'm watching a video because I want to, and the longer the better, and it's absolutely fine. So I don't know why I can continue to feel like that, because when I hear other people feeling like that, I'm like, don't be silly. And so I should probably tell myself the same, don't be silly. And often when I say it, people comment saying, oh no. I'm glad. I'm just taking the excess on the sponge down the centre of my nose and around the sides, just for concealing a bit of redness and highlighting a little bit down the centre. I'm going to set that really quickly with, otherwise the Fit Me can crease on me. It's the Lasting Perfection 16 Hour in Fair by Collection, and I'm just going to use my contour brush by Real Techniques again. Right in the inner corner. I have been using recently this powder in the shade Medium, and I definitely can't get away with that one shade anymore. Okay, so now that's done, I'm just going to finish off the eyes. What I was doing is taking just the original two colours that we used, the two matte colours in the crease, on the tip of this same brush. So it's quite an easy look in the sense that I'm only using, well, in total 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 4 or 5 colours, shades, and also one brush, really, 2 brushes. God, I can't even count today. So I'm just making sure that's in the lash line and connect it up in the corner. So I think I'll title this like a daytime autumn look, because often autumn looks can be very dramatic, so this is like a daytime version. And then I'm going to take this very gold colour in the corner, and that's called Way, as in Milky Way but without the Milky. So the one next to it's called Milky and this one's called Way. I'm taking it on the tip of the flatter side and I'm just pressing that into my inner corner. And I'm going to get it on the very tip again and just drag it slightly in to meet the lower lash line. Obviously I'm repeating on this side because we want our eyes to match if we can. I can't manage to get my eyebrows to match because they are not the same, so I might as well make the most of it with the eyes if possible. So that's in there. And I don't know why, but today it's looking quite yellow, so I'm just going to go over it with this shade here in the palette, which is called Adorable, which is a little bit less basically yellow and a little bit more cream. Let's tone that down a little bit. Okay, and now I'm just going to touch up my lid colour just because I feel like I've lost a little bit of the intensity with blending. And I can do this with my concealer on because there is next to no fallout with these shades. God, I love Makeup Revolution. Some things anyway. Since trying Makeup Revolution, it just made me feel like I never want to pay for another high-end palette again for the rest of my life. For eyeshadow, that is, anyway. So next, let's go on to brows. Let's just bang on some brows. I'm using my Sleek eyebrow kit in light and my brow brush by Real Techniques, and I'm using the waxy creamy gel side just because it's darker. The shade, the powder shade, is basically Omega by MAC. It's almost absolutely identical, but now that I'm a redhead rather than blonde, it's a little bit too pale for me, a little bit too light, shall we say, for my brows. So I know everybody's brow crazy, they want perfect sculpted brows with concealer all around them and blah 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 blah. I am not that type of person. I literally slap them on, so sorry about that, guys. I'm probably not going to ever do a brow routine video because I don't have a brow routine. What you've just seen there is what I do, and as you can see, one of my brows is significantly higher than the other, and I don't know if you've ever noticed before, but that goes hand in hand with the fact that one of my eyes is a significantly different shape to the other. This one's more narrow, this one's more open. I don't care, I'm happy with it. Next I'm going to move on to my Makeup Revolution All About Bronze palette. I didn't really like this when I first got it, but recently I've seen Emily Noel use it and I've tried it again, and it is handy to pick up when you're in a rush, but I will say that I just find the shades a little bit strange, especially this one. It's very like mustardy. Luckily these lighter shades I can wear while I'm pale, but I'd be surprised if most people can actually get any colour payoff at all with this palette, just because the shades are so fair, most of them. There's a lot of kick up and a lot of fallout with it, so I can't actually use the mirror in the palette because it is so filthy with all the with all the kick up and fallout. So I'm just going to go around my hairline and I'm literally loading that brush up. The bottom row of shades of this palette are matte and the top row is shimmer, so I'm literally just going with the matte shade. Not that it's contouring, but I do like a matte shade on my forehead because it's so huge, and I'm taking it down the sides near my temples. Oh, it's difficult to blend because I've not powdered my face. but I really just don't want massive cake face today. And I'm just going to take this shade here, which you would have thought is darker than the middle one, but I actually don't think it is darker, on the same brush, which is my multitask brush. And I'm just going to put it just in the hollows and up a bit, blending up. Oh, sorry, I don't want to cover my face. In the hollows and just up onto the cheek. And I'll take that shade, a mixture of the two shades, the first and the third shade, and go onto the neck and jawline. And lastly, what I like to do, so powdery, is take this lightest shade here, which is the shimmery one, on the brush, take it down my nose, chin and forehead. It's not light enough to be a highlighter, but I just like to do that with that when I'm very pale, just to bring a bit of warmth back to my skin. And I'm taking the lightest shade here of the two baked, which is like a highlighter shade, and I'm just going to put that on the top of my cheekbones. But it is a very, it is very shimmery, but it is also bronzy. So again, just giving my face a little bit life, and as you can already see, I'm looking so much less dead in my skin tone. I'm then going to take my sleek blush in Pomegranate, which looks like that, and it's a lovely autumnal shade. And this was a brush that I got in a set. I'm just going to get the excess off on the back of my hand. And with sleek brushes, they're very pigmented, so you have to be very careful. And I've started putting it further back on my cheek, which I used to love it on my apples, but I'm starting to get sort of like mutton chops with age, and so I need to put them on the backs of my cheekbones to be a little bit more flattering. This brush is so soft and lovely. I think the brush set was called XC, and it was from Amazon. So that's that done. I'm also just going to take this pale cream colour here and just pop a little bit under my brow. Still a little bit on the brush of the shimmery one from when I did my inner corners, so it's giving it a nice highlight, but I don't like, I really like shimmery highlight. And I'll just take my Bedelium brush and just so softly run over that, just so I have no harsh lines, as they say. I'm going to try this Awesome Lash mascara from Makeup Revolution. I say try, I have used it before, and I don't know whether it's just the way I'm applying it or my eyelashes, but it seems to be a little bit of a hit and miss situation. It certainly doesn't give me volume, which is what I expected it to do, but actually it's fairly good for lengthening. I wouldn't recommend it if you have hooded eyes, because the brush is so huge, it's actually very difficult to put it on without getting it all over your eyelid. For me anyway, because I have quite curly lashes as well, so they almost hug my eyelids sometimes. So that's why I go up on my lashes and then back on them like that, because they're so curly. It just helps to stop them from going too silly. I'm not complaining though, I know a lot of people spend time curling and I don't have to do that. I actually have been using a separate mascara for the bottom lash line that's a less chunky one, but I've forgotten to bring it downstairs with me in my box, and so we're just going to go for it and try and get this on without making an absolute horrendous mess of it. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Don't like too much on my lower lash line mascara wise, so I'll just leave that there. When I go upstairs, I'm also going to pop a nude eyeliner in my waterline just to brighten that up, but sorry that I haven't got that with me. In fact, I'll just go and grab that. Couldn't quite find the nude eyeliner, but it doesn't matter, I'll look for it later. I've got my lip combo that I'm going to wear. Now, This one, both these products I don't need to wear a liner with. If you do feel like you really need a liner, then I recommend Essence's Satin Mauve number 6 as the liner. Or if you don't have one of these products, you could, and you don't have both these products, you could mix one of the products with that one and get a very similar effect. But the first shade I'm going to put on is Nude Nuance, which is 657, and it's a Maybelline matte. Oh, and it's a bit dark for me, so I'm just going to use my finger to sheer it out a bit, because I don't want too much product on, because I'm putting 2 products on. And now I'm going to go over the top with my Lip Lava by Makeup Revolution, and I believe this shade is Tremor. It's the rosy coloured one. And again, I don't want too much. I'm not quite taking this as far out as I did the first shade, so I can create, you know, more of an ombre lip. And if you have any matte, actually it doesn't have to be matte, because this initially doesn't go on matte, it takes quite a while to dry matte. If you have any brown lipsticks and you feel like they're not that flattering on you and you need to make them a bit more wearable, you know, you're trying to go for it but it wasn't quite working out, then I recommend this colour over the top, because it mixes really nicely with brown shades. So that's the finished look, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. Thank you to everyone subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!